Hi everybody, so for our video today we'll just be playing around with makeup. I'm thinking of creating a nice peachy pink makeup look, which is perfect for spring or maybe a date night or a date during the day. And the reason why I'm doing this is because this will just really help me to get back into the rhythm of putting makeup again, because if you follow me here on YouTube or even on Instagram, you would have seen that I was in my home in the province for a little over a week, so around 10 days. So me doing this video is just gonna help me get my makeup hands back and to get into the rhythm of being in work mode, creating videos or even going to work. And with all of the makeup products that I have here on my table today, some are relatively new to me and some I've had for a while, so I hope that you guys don't mind that. I'm not someone who has a ton of PR or who's willing to spend on a ton of new makeup, because again, makeup is very expensive and we should only purchase the products that we would actually need. Okay, yeah, so anywho, so that's it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start with my makeup process. So I already have my skincare on, I have my sunscreen on, I already have my brows on. Everything is listed down in the description box if you want to know about it. Okay, right, so first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray my face with some of my Lisa Eldridge Skin and Makeup Enhancing Mist. I love this, so I'm just going to spray a thin layer all over. I love the nozzle of this because it just sprays the right amount of product on and I don't get a splattering of liquid all over my face. Okay, so now I'm just gonna pat it in and wait for it to sink in. Alright, so now I'm applying a thin layer of my Armani Luminous Silk foundation. I'm gonna do this all over my face, but not too much because I don't want full coverage kind of a foundation application, because it's spring. We want to look nice and fresh and silky and dewy, if you know what I mean. Now for my concealer, I'm using two colors from the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. So I mix the colors Ginger and Tiramisu. And the reason why is because I don't want my under eyes to be too highlighted. I just want it to be even. And the Tiramisu color here has a very nice neutral shade to it, almost warm leaning. So it's actually just perfect for me anyway to just neutralize the blue tones in my under eye area, and it just instantly brightens, as you guys can see here. Now, by the way, for our video today, I am shooting under natural light, but I have some artificial light on because one, it's quite cloudy today, which is quite a surprise because summer is supposed to be around the corner here in my country. And second, I bought a new lighting system and I'm trying it out today. And the reason why is because I'm just anticipating my move. So if you've been following me here on YouTube or on Instagram, I have been stating in a few vlogs that I am about to move homes. And basing off of how the light bounces in my new home, I might need to get a new lighting system. And I'm quite happy on how this new light actually works with me today. So it's illuminating my skin quite nicely. It's very even, but it's not washing it out, which I love because you can still see my texture, you can still see the natural color of my face. But most of all, it also illuminates my home office quite nicely, and I love that. Okay, so I hope that this lighting works for you guys, because I do have to admit it's working for me right now. So if you have any opinions about it, please let me know down in the comments box. Okay, right, so I'm just gonna continue tapping in the concealer and to blend it out. Now at this point, before we powder, I just want to do some pinpoint concealing using Lisa Eldridge's new pinpoint concealer. And I actually find this product to be quite perfect to use, especially if you just want to perfect your concealing. And I am using this pencil in number 8. This one has an olive undertone to it. And I'm just gonna be tapping it here into this portion of my nose because I scratched it last night, so it's a little bit red. And the olive undertone of this will actually work in counteracting with that redness, and also it's going to work with the undertone of my skin, and that will just really help me to cover any blemishes. I kind of love this formulation, by the way, because it's very lightweight and it has a gel type of a formula, and it just really works. So now what I'm going to do is going to pick up the brush that I use for my foundation. I'm going to pat whatever is left of my foundation on the brush head and put it on top, and that will just help to blend everything out. Perfect. Do I need to cover up any more areas? Maybe just here, around my nose, and also here. And then with the brush that I use for my foundation, I'm just gonna tap it to blend it into the foundation. Okay, and let me get a lighter color. I think, yeah. So I have the shade number 5 now, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of that here, just to counteract with a little bit of my blueness. And again, with the brush that I use for the concealer, I'm just going to pat it in. Love it. Perfect. Alright, so before I powder the face, I'm going to apply some blush. I'm going to be using these 2 colors from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So these are her blurring serum blushes. I am using the color Hibiscus, which is a very nice, like, you know, pinky orangey shade. And I'm going to mix in a little bit of the color Guava, which is a very nice, like, you know, mauvey tone. So I have squeezed, like, you know, 2 of the colors separately here. And I'm going to be applying the color Hibiscus first. And with the brush that I used earlier for my foundation, I'm just gonna blend it further because I want the blush to look like, you know, it's very, very soft, like I'm blushing from within, and I don't want it to be like, you know, the story of this makeup look. Okay, that's quite nice. And whatever is left on the brush head here, I'm gonna apply that on the other side. And I'm gonna blend that out. Okay, so I'm just building a little bit of some intensity. And I'm going to sculpt it a little bit. And the main reason why is because I don't want to use any bronzer or any, like, you know, contouring product today, because this is a spring kind of a makeup look. So I just want everything to look nice and floral and fresh, and I don't want to have any, like, you know, shadows on my face. Okay, so I'm just continuing to buff out the color and to blend it out and to continue to make it look nice and blurred. Okay, that looks quite nice and fresh. And then now I'm gonna pick up the other color, the color Guava, and I'm just going to add a hint of that on top of the Hibiscus. And I'm just gonna blend it out. Now the reason why I'm mixing these 2 colors together is because the color Hibiscus here has a very nice, like, you know, warm tone to it. So it's just, like, you know, indicating that summer is around the corner. It's giving my skin, like, you know, a nice warm undertone. And then putting the color Guava on top is just a nice way of tying in with the season, because spring is still, like, you know, a little bit cool, and it's always usually pinky and mauvey at this time of the year. So mixing this 2 is just, like, you know, a nice indication of the season to come. Okay, all right, so now it's time for some powder. I have some of my loose setting powder here from Laura Mercier, and I'm just going to dab a little bit of this brush, and I'm just gonna apply it here in my under eye area. Now I'm not planning of actually, like, you know, powdering my entire face, and the reason why is because, like, you know, it's still a bit cool at this time of the year, so sometimes our skin can be, like, you know, extra dry, and I don't want to mattify my face as well, because, like, you know, I just want to keep the sheen on. But if you're someone who has very, like, you know, oily skin, of course you can always powder to your heart's content. But so far for me, I'm just gonna keep it, like, you know, quite light, and I kind of love that, like, you know, everything is nice and dewy, looks very silky. And I'm only powdering in the areas where I need to powder. It's always usually here in this part of my face, like, you know, in the inner parts of my cheeks. Then on top of my nose, here on my T-zone area, by the brows. And maybe just a light dusting of powder over my cheeks, just to enhance, like, you know, the blurry look of the blushes. Alright, so I love how subtle the blush is, but it just has enough color to give, like, you know, life into the skin. Alright, so let's move on to eyes. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply a thin layer of eye base first. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I have oily eyelids, and I have realized, as I've been playing around with the different groundwork palettes from the Nessamyrix, the putty formula or the creamy formulas of these have a tendency of actually creasing on my eyelid, well, especially with my eyes, because as you guys can see, as soon as I open it, my fold and my crease, they go over each other and they cause a lot of friction. So an eye base really works for me because it just helps to keep the longevity of my eye look on. So in keeping with the peachy pinky tone, I'm gonna start with the color Dreamy first, and I'm gonna pick up the cream formula first, and I'm gonna use this as an all over eyeshadow base. Now I love how warm this is, but it also has a pinky tone to it, and it's a very nice base color, just to add some life into the eyes, especially if you have eyes like mine, wherein if you open up your eyes again, all the color disappears, but you can just see the color peeking through my socket line into my crease, and that just really adds a very nice hint of life into that portion of my eye. Okay, now so I'm gonna get the color Smitten here. I'm still using the creamy formula, and I'm just gonna put that on top of the color that I used earlier. So again, I'm mixing the mauvey tone and the warm tones together because I don't want it to be a little bit too bright anyway, because if the eyeshadow was too bright, that would be a very summery kind of an eye look. Okay, now so I'm gonna pick up the powder formula of the color Smitten, and I'm just gonna use this into my socket line area. Add a bit of dimension there and also some color. And I'm gonna gently buff that out and blend that upward. So that would just really help with my eye shape and also help me to create a lift while keeping in the tones of the makeup look that I want to achieve today. Now, if you've seen my previous vlog wherein I actually was vlogging when I was in my home in the province, I actually stated there that I started packing up my home office, and as you guys can see, my home office now looks very, very different. Especially if you've been following me here on YouTube for quite a while. And this is also one of the reasons why it took me a while to create a video for us, because as soon as I got here from my home in the province, I really started tidying up my home office because I left it in a ruckus and I didn't want to start vlogging and the background is so messy and dirty, so it took me a while to get it into this condition, but so far I'm liking actually on how minimal everything is now. And I've also decluttered a lot of stuff, and I'm just so surprised on how much crap we actually keep from all the years that we're living in our homes. And it was actually quite a relief. I've seen a lot of receipts from 2014, which was so crazy. I have a lot of cables here from different computers, or from mobile phones or even printers. It was absolutely crazy, and I was actually so happy to get rid of them because I don't want to bring any more crap into my new home. Okay, right, so let me just continue to buff this out, and then let's continue. Okay, so now I'm gonna apply a little bit of some eyeliner, and I'm gonna be using the color Evermore here. So I'm gonna get the putty formula first, and I already loaded it into this brush, and I'm just gonna lightly brush it along my upper lash line. Now, in the vein of talking about decluttering my home office, I find it so fitting because it's just a form of spring cleaning, if you know what I mean. And I'm kind of glad that this is happening right now, because if I was not moving, I don't think I would have ever gotten rid of a lot of crap. And again, I can't believe I cling on to a lot of these things that have lost their meaning or worth over time. And I remember Cher, the singer Cher, she said that her mom told her that if something loses its value after 5 years, you throw it away. And I believe that is so true. So true. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue to apply this color all over, and I'm gonna apply more of the color here into the inner portion of my eye. Now I'm not applying a stark line as my eyeliner, so I'm keeping it in line with our concept, which is spring, so everything is soft and delicate. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. So we have a nice soft definition of color there. And now just to set that creamy putty formula, I'm going to go into the deeper shade now of this palette, which is called XO, and I'm gonna pick up the powder formula, and I'm just going to tap this along my lash line just to set it, and just so that the formula doesn't bleed into my eye or crease. And what I love about this makeup look is that it's nothing serious. It's like almost a one and done eyeshadow kind of a look, and because I'm keeping everything nice and soft, it doesn't really have to be precise. So it's gonna be relatively easy. Love that. So at least my eye color is popping up now, and then we have a nice soft definition on my lashes, which is enough to give life into my eyes. Love that. Okay, and whatever is left on the brush, I'm just gonna drag it along and smudge it and buff it out further. Alright, so I have a mascara here, and this is from VMV Hypoallergenics. So this is a local brand which I love, and this has a very nice tone to it, and also it has a very nice ability to volumize and lengthen the lashes, and I absolutely love it. And I can actually feel it really curling my lashes. And the best thing about this, which I love, is that it's not waterproof, but it stays on your lashes very well. So it's actually very easy to remove at the end of the day. Look at that. Look how long my lashes look. But I love even if there's so much volume going on, it's not really I'm tempering down the colors that I apply on my eyelids, because I kind of don't like it when there's too much lash action going on, because too thick of an eyelash, or even fake eyelashes, if you overdo it, you kind of lose the story that you're creating on your eyelids. Okay, so the eye look is actually quite matte, but I love how soft it looks on my lids. But I want to add a hint of drama, so I'm thinking of adding this topper shade. So this is from the Myth palette of Lisa Eldridge, which I think is currently not available. So I do hope that it comes out again, because this shade is absolutely gorgeous. It's a very nice topper shade. It's not delicate, but it has this very nice pink yet lavender hue to it, which is so beautiful. And I'm going to be using my PS4 here. I love this brush. Now, if you want to have a vibrant application of color, use this brush. So I'm just going to put the brush on the pan here, pick up a little bit, and I'm just going to lightly dab this all over and spread it all over my eyelid. Look at that. So it's giving a nice hint of dimension into my eyeshadow color, but it's actually not changing the overall tone or look of it, which I absolutely love. And I'm just keeping the topper shade well here into the middle portion of my eye. And I'm not overdoing it. I'm not blending it above my crease. And the reason why I'm doing that is because as soon as I open my eyes, it folds, and that's just going to create friction, and that's gonna make all of that glitter and shimmer jump from my eyelid, and I don't want to have any fallout, because so far I'm not having any fallout on my cheeks. To finish off this eye look, I'm gonna go back into the Blooming Romance palette of Danessa, and I'm gonna pick up this color here. So I'm gonna be using the powder formula. Just pick up a little bit of this, and then I'm gonna use that in the outer portions of the eyeshadow close to my brow bone, because I want to blend out the edges further and to really soften it, because again, everything needs to be soft for our look today. Okay, I'm just gently brushing it in and blending it, make it look like it's a very nice subtle highlight without overdoing it. I love it. Look at that. And of course, the colors that I chose today is also like, working very well with me because after all, I have olive undertones in my skin, and then the pinky tones just really has a way of popping onto my skin. Okay, so now I'm nearing the end of my makeup routine and maybe just some final touches. So I have the Pinpoint Concealer from Lisa again. So I'm just gonna use this to add some brightness in this area. And doing this just has a way of minimizing the shadow that my crease here is showing. And I'm also gonna do that here. And miraculously, the sun has come out, which is fantastic because at least I get to see how the lighting and the actual sun creates a very nice combination here on the screen. Okay, and with the brush that I used earlier for my concealer, I'm just gonna tap that in and blend it out. So I love how very lifting this eye look is, and it's not super sexy and cat eye, but it's very nice and round and very wide awake and very fresh looking. I love that. And that's also one of the reasons why I did not put any eye color in my under eye area, because I want everything to look lifted for us today. Okay, love that. And let me just add a hint of powder. Okay, and now it's time for our lips. Now what I want to do is I want to apply this lip plumper, which I got in Japan a few months ago, and this is called Lily Tone. I love the shade of this. Look at that. Look how fresh it looks. Look how delicate it also looks. So I'm just gonna pick up some of this. I have a lip brush here, and I'm just gonna apply this all over. Look at that. Look at that very nice shade. You thought that it was just way too light and pale. It has no color, but it actually has enough pigmentation to give brightness into the lip. And because this is a lip plumper, this will just also help to add volume into the lips. I love this shade. I also love this formula. When I go back to Japan, I am going to hunt this down. Look at that. Look how nice and delicate and fresh it looks. And as a final step in our makeup for today, I'm going to be using a little bit of my Guerlain Meteorites Pearl de Satin. So I think I'm just doing this for the nostalgia, because when I was moving my stuff around here in my home office, I used to have a table here with a lot of my brush collection and makeup collection and even my Guerlain Meteorites collection. And when I saw this, I go oh, I love the pink and warm tones that I see on the packaging of this. And I think this is the main inspiration for this look that we have today. Anyway, so I have my Koyudo Kakejibu Zome brush. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this, and I'm just gonna add this on top of the Anastasia Beverly Hills blush that I applied earlier, and this will just apply a hint of sheen, and it's a nice color to tie in with the blush and the overall look of our face today. Alright, okay, so I believe that's it for my vlog today. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you enjoyed hanging around with me, and it's nice to be back into the rhythm of things, getting back into vlogging. And I'm still kind of glad that I'm still able to do this, even if I'm in the verge of moving homes. Okay, all right, so that's it for me today. So if you guys have any more questions about all of the products that I used today, please let me know down in the comments box, and let's have a conversation about it. Okay, all right, so that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye.